little dark. No, I guess that's pretty good lighting. Yeah, that's good.
Thank you, Misha. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, everybody. This is an impromptu thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about the primitive hate. How the earth hates each other, the sun, the moon, the wind, the earth, the water, all kinds of things, the plants, the animals, so how we devour each other to create an ecology. So there's no ecology at the moment because man now is meat eating man. So there's no connection between us and ecology right now. And that's primitive hate. So in a lot of ways, so you have this dharma, and then you have sadhana,
Sadhana.
and the sadhana, you go from sadhana, you go really, 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 really up, and then the weight crashes you down. But you're still here in dharma if you stay that way. So all these little things are distractions. We need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this. So you forgive karma by fault. And then that karma comes and fills that space up until you got so much karma, negative karma. So you want to erase that negative karma into positive karma. But to achieve that status and level is you have to not take fault. Just say, I did it. It's my doing. So if there's an earthquake, it's not our doing, it's the earth's doing. But the rain is the rain's doing, not ours. Well, once we start to take it on, it starts to weigh us down. So sometimes we tilt the side like the universe one time, it was tilted, and it shook our brains up. And we propelled into the future so fast that we don't know which ping pong ball we want to play. So a lot of times we end up playing pocket billiards, So so just sing or say something that you like the same thing over and over. So if you put too much stress on that one string, it's gonna pop, it's gonna burst. So we are all connected on that one biblical cord. So one pulling this way, one pulling that way, one eating that way, one pushing up that way, and all these ways. So the one string is wobbling. So we're going to get it steady. So that's why we chant, that's why we sing, so we stay on a semi-tunnel vision. But you want to keep an open consciousness. In other words, you must be able to do 5, 10 things at the same time, thinking on one level, but be able to have 5 separate consciousnesses or 10 separate consciousnesses. So then you create all these hands and legs and abilities by having all these different hands or different heads. So that's why we chant. So Hai Guru is, God is everywhere. So Guru is a teacher. So the more we say Vahe Guru, is the more we undo our ignorance. Because the more the word Guru gives you wisdom, knowledge, and you learn that over 108 times. So that's one cycle. But you gotta go like 100 million, trillion, zillion repetitions to make that happen. So it is life going. It's just physically we wouldn't be here, but it's still. So whatever you start, the first sound you make now, it's going to take another billion years to go into another galaxy. It's going to take another 108 billion years for it to roll out. Things like that. But right now the society is really hurting for resources because everybody is grabbing this and grabbing that and not giving it the chance. So it's really very insecure to put your services in somewhere because you don't know what is going to be resulted. So the hate is never ever going to go away. We're going to always hate each other. We always hate ourselves. For hate ourselves for doing the right thing, but hate ourselves even more for not doing the right thing. And then what is the right thing? So we don't know what is the right thing. The right thing may be right to you, but it may not be right to me. So why should I accept if it's right to you and not right to me? So there got to be some, like the scale run back and forth. So we're on this scale. How the universe alternates, the sun, the moon, the alternation, stuff like that. But there's a lot of chemistry in the Shakti JJJ. If you understand why it is created that way. But it's not the correct way, it's just one way. But to me, it's by expedient means. Be practical, fast. So you don't have to go through all that pageantry and thing, and you could still keep a tight ship and stay within the 4 corners or the figure of 8. But once you start dabbing outside, then it's hard to contain that lasso, that figure of 8, that strand. But if you can keep the strand together, you're going to see amazing results. Because after a certain time, you get that ability now to start doing logic, start doing things for yourself. So you start with yourself as a patient. And then you start giving people a chance to do this and to do that. And you watch them. And you see how enthusiastic, and you want them to keep coming. So why are you coming? And then it's got to be benefiting you somehow, some way. So put your resources there, and then you're gonna flower like this, blossom like this flower. You know, but you gotta keep watering it. You gotta keep giving it juice. You know, so you have to drive it. You have to garden, be a good gardener. Every once in a while, you get fucked up manure. What are you gonna do? You know, shit is all around us. We walk around with 20 pounds of it in us. So once you go to the bedroom, you get rid of just all that stress. That's meditation right there. There's no higher thing than sadhana,
Sadhana.
sadhana, or dharma. That's beyond, because that's so natural that sadhana and sadhana was created in thought and on the ideology. This isn't there to be in that universe, you know. But then that's a fucking stuck up universe too. Because then it prejudices your caste. If you're a chamar from the ghettos, nope. If you're from Beverly Hills, maybe medium. Okay, you know, Oxford or Cambridge or Hartford or Dublin. So you got that hanging up in your office, and wow, people come in, oh wow, man, he's a very educated guy, but the guy don't know shit. You could probably do better surgery than he can. Don't let them put the knife at you. Because once they put the knife at you, it's like a car. You got a new car and all of a sudden something goes wrong. You take that, the minute you take that first nut out, it's never going to be the same. So that's how wired our brains are. But if you can tune that consciousness of that engine, keep that one song, that shh, engine going. And even when you hit that gas pedal a little bit, you pep it up, you make it sing. And you listen to the, and you know they say the older the violin, the sweeter the tune. So I kind of was anxious to get out of the house today, you know, to do something. And I thought about coming over here. So like I said, this video, this talk is just an impromptu thing. I think I needed to get off our chest, on my chest. So, you know, I'm going into the peak of this vacuum right now, to the top. And I'm like saying, well, can I really endure the lightning that's going to come with it? And then I said, I have to say, well, okay, because I never backed out in my whole life of a challenge. You know, and then I get my relatives sometimes questioning me. They're questioning if I can do it. They go and check it out. Oh, did you hear what he said? I'm just trying to check the accuracy of it. So yeah, you know, I believe in once you start something, you finish it. You know, and I'm keeping my word. I'm living up to my word. That's all I have is my word and my balls. Nothing else. And also, you know, to know that I'm surviving by the grace of God is a blessing too, because I don't own it, and they don't own me. And then I also, for the first time in years, I'm facing a challenge now too. Is that so before I would pour all the doors by myself, and then I had people help me. And now with this 7-door lodge coming up, I got to pour all 7 of those doors. And it's been a while. So I'm like saying, all right, it's a challenge. So now I'm aware how my focus is off and my adjustments, and you use the mathematics of your body and the space that you're working with. And then I'm working in bad conditions in the sense that the way the land and the configuration of the lodge and the wood and the stone, the people. So I'm also learning, and this is the story of my life. I've always worked out in the boondocks, and somehow people enjoy it in the limelight, and I'm saying, shit, I wish that was me. And then now I'm seeing that, oh yeah, that can be me. So then a whole different approach too. So I want to kind of inculcate a different attitude with the people and myself, and more clairvoyant, transparent attitudes toward these ways. My way is not the same as your way. Walking this way is just one way, but there's many, 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 many ways. So then if I walk down that street, don't say, oh no, we don't do that. We do it like this in that street. I'm not saying I'm walking down this street, man. I'm not walking down that street. But in the event, in the end, we still end up at the same point, no matter which direction we go. We have the hape, and we have the one-on-one with the medicine, and then we have the Olympias, and then we have different arts to share, and playing music, singing songs, and putting instruments together, how to use the instruments, how to sit and get the best out of it, so that we can think of like it's a good some of the people are the best psychologists that come around these ways. You don't need to see no shrink to tell you, oh man, you're like this. I used to be like this when I was a kid growing up. This one was shrink. So then they put that on you, and then you really become like the shrink. So you want to stay out of the shrink's orbit. So stay in your orbit. It took me a while to understand that, to accept that. Okay, I need to stay in my orbit. And this is what the COVID taught me too, is to be kind and conservative to myself. So I was trying all kinds of stuff, and this maraca, they call it. It's from South America, my country, Guyana. The Arawak Indians made it, and then my sister Prita gave me, and then I gave it to Stephanie, and then she gave it back to the racket. And for some reason, it fell down and split. And then I said, no. The first thing that came to my mind is something is trying to split the sakti up. And I didn't make a fuss about it. I didn't rant to rave. I just said, blew it up. And even up to today, I don't rant to rave about it because you, it's like nothing ever really happened to it. So you also develop, you could do exercise with the songs. You could do a yoga, you could do a dance, and then you could work your feet. So you raise your foot up and you flick the side out as though you're kicking somebody with a side kick, and then learn to swing the foot in arcs and snap, tap. So you snap, so you're working out. And you don't have to go anywhere, you can work out in the same spot. You do that for 20 minutes a day. You dance, just dance and chant. So you dance with the energy, and you dance on one foot, and then you go down as though you're sitting down like me, and your foot is straight out, and you dance, and you bounce, and then you shoot up back, standing up. But you dance and you channel that energy, you move it, move that energy. And you work the hips. Don't be afraid to work the hips, lift the one foot up, keep on the balls of your feet, and your heels off the ground, and you dance in the toes. Hello again. So previously, before we went offline, we were talking about back in the day how these ways were more jet setty, like all of a sudden like a new wave, a new trend. It was so exciting, people would travel all from different states, different countries to come to meetings. So when I started running meetings also, people would be packed from all over the world and they would just come for that one night all the way from the Middle East, from Europe, from Japan, from China, different states, and I would say, wow. So, but at one time I flattered myself. I said I thought it was for me, but then I realized, no, who are you? So it's not about me and you. It's about the medicine. And it's helped a lot of people. It's helped me to come to terms with you can't have everything you see and you want. So why I said in the old days how it was jet setty, yeah, people would come and they would flash money, but not in cash, but in material like the cars, the clothes that they would wear, the houses they would live in, the parties they would throw, and it was all good, and then there was also this abuse of taking advantage of each other somehow, some way, and I'm like saying, well, I don't want no part in that. And then somehow I got drawn in to all that, and I backed out. I said, wait a minute, man, this isn't right. This is not what I want. This is not a good representation of the medicine. If you abuse your children or your wives or women, when you take advantage of the person you call brother and uncle or nephew or niece, and you throwing them scraps, So that's how it was back then, and now it's pretty dead and boring. And somehow efforts are being made to make that happen again, but it wouldn't happen just like that. Because back then was a lot of wannabe shamans and medicine men and roadmen, and now you have again a repetition of itself. So I blame the teachers because the teachers didn't explain more in detail, not teach, but explain the status quo at the moment. But then at the same time, the student, not the student, but the helper or whatever, the passerby, didn't learn, only learned a piece of it and left a big chunk of it behind and is not going to catch up because the sadhana. But then when you come on duty, dharma, then you're also bound. So why be bound at all? You could still be your universe and still evolve around these bubbles as a satellite. And everything around you is a satellite. So you are the universe. You're just a particle of the universe. We are. And then we come with all these words, and so all these songs and these instruments are numbers, some mathematical number, how we're supposed to sound. And then how I might receive the sound might be different from how you might receive the same sound. So different interpretations too. But I like listening to people, and I like watching people. I like watch how people talk, people idiosyncrasies, how they sing songs, how they speak, how they eat, good manners, because you want to kind of show respect now. Saint. It really doesn't mean anything if you say you respect this way and you got bad manners. And good manners can be served in many, many ways. Maybe you're dolish, but you got good manners too. And then you got prominence and manners too. So the minute you walk into a surrounding, you already know at what rank you are. Because that's how it is established. So this is the CEO, this is the chairman, the assistant, and you got the vice president, and you got the president, and you got the director, and you got 10 people down the line. So that's how I look at it with the medicine. Looking down the line, but they're always in a hurry to get up. So I'm not worried about who passed me, I'm worried about who's coming behind me. So I'm thinking about next tissue is coming along. So our prana, the British status of the universe is really, really off right now. And there's gonna be a long time for it to come back to a decent level. So the only best way we can do is run naturally, not because somebody told you so or somebody told you so. You must know what's good for you. But it would be nice. I feel that yes, the spiritual ways. As I grew up, how Hinduism and Catholicism and Islam at the time, how they used to do all this, but with a very affluent way too. But yet they were spiritual, and the dinner, the parties, prayers, the way they greet you, the way they treat you, So I grew up with that image of what a model is supposed to be like. And so then the influence of all these movies, Ben-Hur and Julius Caesar and Charlton Heston and Richard Burton, all these guys, Charles Bronson, Edward Bergman, Betty Davis. So they give you this, and then you find out that they suck. They're not as what they said they were. You were under the impression. So these actors, they got you, because they got you to believe in the story. And you believed it, so that's what you were looking for. And then you were disappointed because that's not what you found. But don't surprise yourself, because I think it's a surprise that throws people off. So you should see this coming a year, 2 years down the line. You want to get into the door, and then you have no time to react. But they had situations like that when it was a real trend, and it's still trendy. But it could be more spicier. It's just too boring because there's too much primitive culture. Even though you can make primitive culture very rich, really rich, because it's not as primitive as people think it is. We say primitive, it's like to put you down or to put something down, but it is true that it is primitive. We are all primitive. hair ugly and see her sparkling eyes. I hear her ankle bells a tickling. I see her naughty smile. My Radha is calling to me as she swings in the mango tree. Oh Radha, welcome to thee. Oh Radha, welcome to thee. I see your long black hair a gleaming. I see your sparkling eyes. Hear your ankle bells a tickling, see your naughty smile. My Radha is calling to me as she swings that mango tree. Oh Radha, welcome to me. Oh Radha, welcome to me. I see your long black hair, ugly and mean. I see your sparkling eyes. Hear your ankle bells a tickling, see your naughty smile. My Radha is calling to me, and she's swinging a mango tree. Oh Radha, welcome to me. Oh Radha, welcome to me. I see your long black hair, ugly and mean. I see your sparkling eyes. I hear your ankle bells a tickling. See your naughty smile. My Radha is calling to me as she swings the mango tree. Oh Radha, welcome to me. Oh Radha, welcome to me. See your long black hair gleaming. I see your sparkling eyes. I hear your ankle bells a tickling. I see your naughty smile. My Radha is calling to me as she swings in the mango tree. Oh Radha, welcome to me. Oh Radha, welcome to me. So you can also dance that song, my Radha dance. If you got ballerinas, esoteric dancers, you know, you can create something of the song, my Radha. I see your long black hair, you look in the sky, you know, you sing that song, you dance to the song, you get good instruments. So you're creating a culture, you know, how you would like your the extensionism of your art, your craft, your song, your dance. You know, you might surprise yourself how good you are. And that's the problem that we face today. Is nobody wants to accept how good they are because they're afraid of success. You know, but as like I said, you know, once you get it, how are you going to keep it? So if you're smart and determined and strong-willed, then it's going to happen. But you can't be lazy. You got to work. So there again, we're back to the Lightning Lodge. So I worked my ass off for the last 6 months. So after this 7-door lodge, I'm going to rest up a couple of months. A little sweat here and there, ceremony here and there. And I would expect everybody to do the same too, but at the same time, you still got to hustle. But you don't have to hustle like crazy hustle because there's work out there, there's business out there. You just got to keep your eyes open and communicate with people. Stay in touch with people. Stay connected, but don't get connected. Don't get stuck in your connection. Always have an open mind and there's not a connection. But you should be also encouraging them. If there's another connection better than you, then go. So that's a good sales technique too. So sometimes I would go, one time I went to this company and they say, oh, well, we pay $7.25 an hour. And they say, well, could you beat that? I said, yeah, how about $12.25? And the guy looked at me and I got mad and I shook him and I said, don't waste my fucking time. And I walked out, stormed out. Oh man, it was 7 o'clock in the morning. And what? Because 3 weeks later, he called me up. He said, you know, when can you start? I was like, well, yesterday I started. So then down the line, we met and we talked. He said that I was the first guy that ever stood up to him because he was from this famous jewelry family, jewelry company family, and they expand. One like the original Mayflower people, you know. So I also learned a lot from that. So I see the medicine as beautiful too. You know, nice space, you know, nice vibe, nice people, you know, colorful people, colorful clothing, different instrument, and giving a chance to people to vibe and then giving a chance to people to play together, you know, because that's the whole thing about sakti is for all everybody to be able to play and sing. So if somebody say, well, sing a song, you want to sing a sakti song, and then there's room for you to sing your song, but then we say, well, this is how good I got it. Waheguru. So you got something there to give you fuel to keep going. But yeah, you know, I woke up this morning and I was coughing, and then I realized is the results of food and the cigarette and tobacco and all these substances and more liquids than actual water. So I kind of switched that around. So it's starting to trick the system now. With the 7-door law, you know, no tobacco, no Pepsi, no coffee, no onions in my food, no curry, and some just bland food. And that's kind of hard. But it's cleaning your system out too, so when you get up in there, you don't feel it. Because you're mentally and physically in shape. But you can't go there with one and not have the other, because then it doesn't complement you. So you want something that's going to complement you. So even if you sweat two doors or one door, it doesn't matter. You just come pray. You know, I know some people got their preferences of who they want to pray with. I have no preferences. I learned to pray with my friends and enemies alike myself. Just like all medicines, I'm a guest here too. You know, I don't own it, it doesn't own me. I was born and raised a Hindu, and I'm a Hindu today. And I've been baptized and converted so many times and so many different prayers. I'm the same person. So just another cross that you don't want to bear. In the working out a shoebox, a square box, you know, you don't want to box yourself in.